This video was 100% edited by Codex, including all the text effects that you see behind and in front of me. Let me show you how. So this was the actual raw recording, and I'm going to walk you through the steps that are needed to achieve the text motion effects with Codex. And as I'm explaining, I will also ask Codex itself to animate so that it's easier for you to follow. Now, Codex is a really smart general purpose agent or harness. Depending upon which tools you give it access to, it can interact with the digital world and produce some nice digital artifacts. And today, as you may know, Codex ships with good default coding tools, so it can produce really good coding artifacts. But what we are going to do in this video is give it access to video tools and ask it to produce video artifacts. Specifically, we are going to give it access to 3 tools: SAM3, MatAnyone, and Remotion. So first, I'll start with SAM3. So first, I'm just going to show you what it does and then explain. So now I'm going to ask Codex to use SAM3 to create a segment mask of a person. That's the prompt. Then it'll look something like this. So what you saw there is it kind of segmented away a person from the given video. So it generates a static mask. So that was the first tool. Next, we are going to ask Codex to take this output from the tool 1 and pass it to the second tool, which is called as MatAnyone. Now I'm going to ask Codex to do that and ask it to track me and create a mask throughout the video. So if I do that, then it'll essentially look something like this. Hopefully now there is a green screen behind me. So essentially you have like a green screen without a green screen. That is nice for our use case because it essentially gives us 2 layers now. One, the mask that we just extracted out from MatAnyone, and the other one is the original video. So you can take these two and kind of sandwich it like this and then put in whatever effects you want, either in the front or in between or in the back. So essentially you have layers that you can play with. So how do we do this? We are going to take the output of this tool and then go to the third tool and ask Codex to use this popular Remotion skill to kind of compose this all together. For example, I can ask Codex to take the Remotion skill and just blur the background of the background layer. Hopefully then now it's sort of blurred out and then you can only see me a little more clearly. I can ask it to put a text in front of me, put a text behind me, put a text behind me that is with some fancy effects. So yeah, once you have those things, you can ask Codex with Remotion skills to manipulate and play around with it. So this is how we generated the text effects that I showed you right at the beginning. All of this was just done with prompt in Codex. And actually, in fact, Codex was the one that came up with this idea of SAM3 and MatAnyone to use those tools. I kind of knew SAM3, but I did not know about MatAnyone. And it came up with this idea to use these tools and wrote a client for itself so it can use it. All 3 of these things that I said are open source, so you can grab them, and depending upon your Mac, you could even run them locally. So to recap, here are the 3 things that we used. We used SAM3 to create a segmentation mask around the prompt. In this case, it was called a person. And then we took that mask and fed it to MatAnyone. And then asked it to track across the video. So essentially you had like a green screen. And third, then used Remotion to compose interesting effects. Of course, as the title suggests, all of this was done by talking to my friend Codex, directly, in my case, Terminal. No video editor or anything else was used. Was done all by Codex. The intermediate artifacts that Codex generated, the code that was generated in Remotion, and it's all linked probably in the description. Hopefully I'll put this all in GitHub, clean it up. You can check that if you want for inspiration. And that's it for this video.